Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
Hi. Good, thanks, Diana. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me to your beautiful house. And
thanks for coming.
Right now we're sitting in Lisa's lovely backyard in nature with the birds and the beautiful flowers. And the sun is out and it's a happy day. And it's nice because usually I'm at home talking to people, so this is just nice to be in person.
Well, I know, and the weather is perfect. So it's not too hot. It's not. Yeah, and it's so good to see you in person too.
We've known each other a long time.
I know.
I was thinking about that the other day, and Colin and Burke have sort of come up together in school.
Mm-hmm.
I know they haven't always been in the same class, but they've always gone to the same schools, and I'm just, really grateful that we have done this journey together, because it's been hard, and you've been such a sweet friend. And
likewise, thank you.
And I think that, the more that we have these conversations, hopefully the more families we can help support, extended families, teachers, therapists, friends, neighbors, just really reaching out and helping to educate and make people aware of sort of the journeys that we're trying to navigate.
Yeah.
Why don't we start? I usually just ask people to kind of introduce themselves and tell everyone about your family life. Just an overview, whatever you're comfortable with, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. My name's Lisa Manuel. My son is Burke, who is on the spectrum. My daughter is Chloe, who is not on the spectrum. And my husband, Jason, might pop in. So
that would be lovely. I hope he can. We always like to hear from dads, too. Can you just kind of give us a brief overview about, maybe the beginning when Burke was diagnosed, or when maybe some red flags were raised?
Yeah, he and Chloe are 21 months apart. And when I brought Chloe home from the hospital, it was a huge, huge adjustment for him, because everything changed and he fell apart. And he took it out on Chloe. He would try to physically harm her when she was a newborn, or when I was holding her. And that's when the spiral started. And then it just kind of got worse from there for a while.
And what made you go to the next step of, how did you get to getting a evaluation and then ultimately getting a diagnosis? Because that's a lot.
Yeah.
At once.
Yes, it was a lot.
A newborn, and
it was extremely hard. He had lost words. And then when Chloe was born, he seemed to regress even further. And he was picking up odd habits. He would find something to focus on in the yard. We had these tiny, tiny pine cones, and he couldn't leave. There were tons of them. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't leave he couldn't walk away from them without picking up as many as he could and exploring them. And then that was one thing. And then he started with string, and he would just sit and twirl it around his fingers and look at the string and go into his own little world. So then when he turned 2, which was in August of 2007, our pediatrician said he's not talking like he should be. It's time to do something. So we did. And then we had him evaluated through Baltimore County, and he just slowly regressed changed. Like, even from the point of when Chloe came home, he just never went back to being Burke.
So it was a slow regression. It wasn't like an overnight type thing.
It was slow, and then there was an instant where it was, I don't know how to explain it. It was slow at first, and then there was a time when it really accelerated.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I just want to pause and just interject a side story here, if you don't mind. There is a autism father who I recently found on LinkedIn, and his podcast and blog is called The Autism Dad, and he's actually been doing this a really long time, like 10 years, and he appears to be a single father. I don't know for sure, but it seems he's a single father of 3 boys with autism.
Oh, wow.
And their ages they're spread out. And the reason I am bringing him up right now is because I just listened to his latest podcast, I think yesterday, and the discussion he had with his guest, who is also a podcaster, blogger. The discussion was his guest's child regress, and the autism dad was saying that of all the people he's interviewed over the years and all the conversations he's had over the years, all of the parents are certain that their child was born with autism. He doesn't know of anyone other than her, maybe one other person, who had a child who actually regressed into autism. And I found that fascinating.
Yeah.
My mind was blown because my experience talking with all the families that I've talked to over the years is quite opposite.
It is. I agree.
Everyone that we know, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, the kids have regressed into autism approximately about the same age.
Yes.
So I just wanted to put that out there. Deep thoughts for the people who are listening. We have theories. There can be different reasons, but we won't dive into that today and open up that can of worms. I'll just leave it there. We'll just kind of put a pin in that, but I just thought that was really, really interesting.
Yeah, I've heard a lot and read a lot about regressive autism, and Burke was certainly not born with autism. He was...
Yes, that's my experience exactly.
Yeah, he was a typical little boy.
It makes it much more difficult because there's...
Pardon me?
Burke's grandfather just arrived. We're going to pause and say hello to him quickly. Hi, sir. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Warner Stewart. I'm Burke's grandfather on Lisa's side.
And I understand that Burke is very fond of taking rides with you in your car.
Yeah, it used to be. Lately, no. But yeah, he likes sitting in the back seat.
And you have a really cool car, though. What is it about it that you like so much?
Being in charge.
I think he likes the top down, though, right?
Huh?
He likes the top down.
Yeah.
He likes the convertible.
Sometimes he likes it down, sometimes up.
So he sits in the back and tells you what to do?
Yeah.
I love it.
He's your co-pilot.
For everybody. For you and Jason also.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's so wonderful that he is such a wonderful grandpa and supportive grandpa. And...
Well, don't get carried away. I have.
Well, thank you for saying hello and introducing yourself.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
So, in my opinion, I just think that there is a deeper level, not a deeper level, there's just a level of grief that comes along with regressive autism because our babies weren't born this way.
Correct.
Not saying that parents who had children that were born with autism don't experience their own grief and their own process, especially because you're expecting one thing and that's not what you got. So there's always, no matter what the situation is, expectations go out the window, and then,
you're just totally derailed.
Yeah. So I just think that that's important to raise because there's a lot of diagnoses happening in the community, a lot of adult diagnosis. And again, not here to talk about that today, but I just kind of want to make the parallel that parents do go through a grieving process when their kids regress into autism.
Absolutely.
And it can't be compared to being an adult and getting diagnosed, because regression means loss of skills.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's different, but if you've been able to navigate through life to a point where the diagnosis doesn't come to your 20s or 30s or 40s, not to take away from any challenges or struggles that they might be going through, but they were independent enough and self-sufficient enough to navigate life to the best of their ability to that point.
Yes.
In our situations, we're hands-on 24/7, and the childhood's not the same.
It's not.
It's not a childhood. They're robbed of it, for lack of better words.
They are. They're robbed of it. They suffer. Families suffer. Siblings suffer. It's quite different than what you imagine when you're expecting a child and you have a baby who's meeting all of his milestones and giggly and happy, and then he just goes into his own little world.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's crushing, but it's something I'll never get over.
Yeah. Can you explain Burke's presentation in terms of, does he have any other like medical complications, I should say? Maybe talk a little bit about him being nonverbal and overview, just so it helps the audience kind of understand a little bit. People have been giving me feedback that the conversations have been so good that they're actually able to create visions in their minds as they're listening.
Oh, cool.
So I want them to have a little vision of your sweet boy.
Aw. So Burke is now 16. He will be 17 in August. He is funny. He's
what did he have any language in the beginning? And then was that part of the regression?
Yeah, regression was his loss of words, his loss of language, his eye contact, his ability to interact socially. I think he regressed into just wanting to be with me as opposed to other friends or other little kids. So he like I said, he lost his words. He ended up getting a communication device, which was very helpful at home, but he did not use it at school.
When did he get diagnosed?
Formal diagnosis was in February of 2008.
Okay. So was it 2?
Yes.
2. And then just curious, was it like, did you go to a neurologist or a psychiatrist or Kennedy Krieger?
We went to Kennedy Krieger, and then we also had an evaluation through infants and toddlers with the county, and some testing with the school psychologist who was in charge of that area at the time.
Okay, and then did Burke start like early intervention, or did you have like a wait list?
We did not, luckily. We started early intervention. We started in-home speech, in-home OT, and then we were also, the timeline is a little fuzzy, we were also going to private appointments at Mount Washington Children's Hospital.
Okay. So from there, did he go into his school placement just like at 5, 6, like the kindergarten age?
He went to a typical preschool.
Okay.
And really struggled the last couple of years that he was there. then he went to our local school for special needs kids when he was 4, I think.
Okay.
And then stayed there until he was 5, and at 5 is when we got him non-public placement, because he was not making progress at the Baltimore County School. But I should backtrack and mention that he was doing a morning program at Trellis and doing an afternoon program at the county.
Okay.
So it was very clear that he was making progress at Trellis, but at the county school he was not making progress.
Okay. Yeah, I have to say that I never want to discard the fact that we're so fortunate to be living in the Baltimore area, because we do have so many resources.
Yes.
You know, we do have these, what they call outpatient clinics, where, like you just described, he can do a split school day, you know, and we do have Kennedy Krieger and Mount Washington's Children's Hospital, and I'm grateful that we have that. It's never enough, unfortunately, because of the statistics, but thank God we live here, because I have heard of families that have had to travel like 4 and 5 hours just to, I don't know, an appointment with a specialist, or, you know, get therapy. They have to travel, 2 hours one way or something.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate that we were able to get infants and toddlers right away. We were on the Kennedy Krieger. We were on a wait list for a while to get a diagnosis from them, but it moved quicker than it does these days, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So then Burke has actually made a lot of progress over the years.
He has.
And I know that we were talking recently about how you started private speech with an amazing therapist that we're also working with, and that really helped Burke, I guess, articulate better or communicate better.
Yes, our speech therapist that we have in common, I credit her for Burke having language.
So wonderful.
Yeah, she is amazing. We are so lucky to have had her services for so long. And also, when he was at Trellis, that really helped. But this particular speech therapist actually helped us get him into Trellis. So he was getting a lot of hands-on services.
That's so wonderful. And I think that just to put that in perspective for the audience, not to take away anything from all the amazing, talented speech therapists out there, but it's like a whole nother level when you're working with our kids who have autism, and then particularly regressive autism, because a lot goes along with that. They are very aware that they could once speak and communicate, and that they no longer can.
Yes. A lot of frustration, a lot of tears, a lot of meltdowns.
Yes. So the speech therapist that we work with needs to be cloned like a million times.
Exactly.
Because she gets big picture.
Yes.
And she goes in almost like a private investigator. It's not just, I don't know, it's just a whole nother skill set. Again, don't want to take that away from any of Colin's other therapists, because they also bring a lot to the table and have a very unique skill set.
Yes.
We just require a lot of therapists in our lives.
I know.
Anyway, well, Burke has a birthday coming up.
Yes,
and
August 31st.
He'll be
17.
Oh my gosh, so amazing. Such a handsome young man.
Thank you.
As you know, what I really try to focus on is, out of all the things in your little basket of hard, your basket of hard, right? What's the one hard thing that you would like to just kind of focus on for this conversation? And let's dive into it.
Sure. I think that going back to when Burke was in infants and toddlers, and when he was younger, it seemed like it was so much easier to get services. Services were more available, and I think they still are for younger kids. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem we've had, I'd say, for the past, I don't know, ever since we got, forever, I guess, is not having help. We don't have any help. We don't have any outside help. We have the Autism Waiver, which is supposed to provide help, but and we have had some really great therapists, but they're no longer with us. They've moved on with their careers, and ever since then, it's just been super hard.
So to lay a foundation, let's explain a little bit more about the Autism Waiver. For those who aren't familiar, it is one of many waivers available, but the most common and, I guess, popular one in being offered in Maryland is the Autism Waiver. And so ideally, when our kids get diagnosed, we get the right information and we call and say, hey, my child has a autism diagnosis, and they take down our personal information and they go on a list. The list is anywhere from 8 to 10 years long.
Yes.
What year did you get called?
Gosh.
Do you remember? I feel like it might have, has he been on like maybe 2 years that you've been getting services, or 3 years?
I think we're going on 3 years. We put him on in 2012, so we were behind putting him on. 8 years, I think, that we waited.
Okay. The bottom line is it's anywhere between like 8 and 10 or 11 years.
Yes.
Maybe 7 and 11 if, kids age out of it at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next pool of kids get called up. Mm-hmm. And either you move out of state and fall off the waiver, or they age out, I think, are the two primary reasons. Or maybe the kid doesn't need the services, but that's kind of few and far between, I think.
Right.
Our Governor Hogan, I think, has been diligent in the fact that there's a strong need for more spots on the waiver. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, at least 2 or 3 years now, he has added an extra 100 spots within the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly the cumulative total that they have funded each year, but 100 spots is better than nothing when you have a wait that long.
Anything helps.
Yeah. And so parents, we get so excited, oh my God, we got the call.
Like you hit the jackpot. You won the lottery. You're finally getting some relief because you got the waiver. And then
it's truly womp,
you meet some really nice, really great service coordinators, and in our case, the team with Baltimore County Autism Waiver, they're all amazing. We just met more people. We didn't, which was great. We met a lot of really nice people, but we did not get the services that we had envisioned.
But no one in those roles were able to offer you any support or relief whatsoever.
They did offer an outlet of, they understood autism, they understood how difficult it was, they would point us towards possibly available. They had great information. It was just there's wasn't staff to help.
Yeah.
I think it's a very hard field to find reliable help in. Well, A, they're not paid enough. And B, I think it's a hard job. Yes. And I think when someone can go and get a much less complicated job at the same rate of pay, I kind of feel like, why wouldn't you do that instead of making your life harder, unless you're really invested in special education or speech, or that's the field that you want to get into. I think that it's a hard job.
It's a very hard job. It's very physical, which then becomes very taxing mentally.
Yes.
So the burnout rate's high. The point I also want to make, in the state of Maryland, we gradually, I don't know if this is federal or not, but so I'm just going to speak on the state of Maryland because I really don't remember. We're gradually increasing the rate of minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened with that is these jobs that once were above minimum wage are sitting right on top of being minimum wage.
Yes.
And they're very high demand jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And this obviously isn't the only category or career path affected by the shift of minimum wage. It needs to happen because people need a living wage. I support that wholeheartedly. But everything else needs to adjust.
Yes.
Because, I mean, not to go off on a political tangent, but inflation is an issue, and it's just, we've had a rough go, I think, the last decade.
Yeah.
And everything keeps increasing, but not so much salary.
Yes. It's a huge part of it, I think.
And so these different companies, we have like all these different companies or clinics or schools that want to be a part of the waiver. And they're allegedly running a department to represent the Maryland State Autism Waiver, but can't find employees. And again, that's pretty common with, I think, the state that we're in everywhere as a result of everything we were just saying.
Yes.
But there has to be more incentive because this job is so hard. Not everybody's cut out for this job, but if you're going to take the job, we know that there's a lot of people out there with a heart, and they want to help, and they want to make a difference, and they love our children, and they want to support them. But there's so many things that are lacking. I don't believe there's enough training.
Exactly.
This isn't, like you said, early intervention.
Right.
This is supporting teenagers and adults with an autism diagnosis who struggle, some very profoundly.
Yes.
And not everybody is equipped to walk into a person's home and support that. They don't have the tools. I don't know how to fix that except to continue to have conversations to try to educate and bring the opinions and the issues to the table, and hopefully the powers that be who are running these clinics and organizations or service providers can do a better job of supporting them and preparing them to go out into the field.
That is, unfortunately, sounds like a dream. That's exactly what we need.
Everything that we want and need is so far out of grasp and reality. But we'll still talk about it, because definitely that. But like you said, they move forward with their career. It's almost like in their perfect world an entry-level job.
Yes.
And maybe on paper it is, but not in reality. This is like hardcore, roll up your sleeves. I've got 5 years of experience under my belt and I am ready.
Right.
It's so far away from entry level for a lot of our children, to support a lot of our children.
Yes. And I think that's what's so hard about it. You can only get training by being thrown into the situation, and it's not when these therapists are going through the training, I'm not sure how much of a clear picture they get of working with our kids. I think that when the kids are little and they're cute and tiny and still learning, and I mean, not that we're not always learning, but still, they're still little kids. I think that they're more fun to work with. I think they're more, or maybe they're more appealing to work with to therapists. So I don't think that they don't have a clear picture of what it could really be like if a child or a teenager child has behaviors, and they come in thinking that they're just going to hang out with this kid and take him out maybe into the community and just have fun and just hang out, really, and maybe teach them some new skills, some chores around the house, and then just go home. But
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy, especially, I said, if your child has behaviors. It's not, in my view, it's not worth, if you're going to get hurt, if you're going to get, I don't know how to say this, without it sounding like really bad, but it's going to be very challenging, and there are so many things that, because our kids are all so unique, there are so many things that nobody just ever thinks of before you're going into a job. We did have one person who tried to work with us. She had sounded like a dream on paper, had a sibling with autism, a little older than Burke. She came to us when Burke was very physical with me. And he was not, in this particular instance that she was here, he was not outward physically aggressive, but he would hold on to my pants or try to take my shoes off, and I would have to peel his hands off, and that scared her to death. I mean, she never came back after that.
Yeah, and that's, for us, for you and me, that's like, it's like nothing, right?
I know. It's like,
that
dude.
There's not even any, like, real physical contact there.
Yeah, right? That's nothing.
I hear you on that. We lost a therapist who was wonderful. She was absolutely lovely and talented, and her and Colin had a great rapport. And Colin had a really bad, this was a couple years ago when he was going through the worst time of his life, thanks to puberty.
Yes.
But he ended up biting her, and she wasn't prepared, and she also didn't have the actual background or training to know how to get out of it, to prevent it at all. I mean, there are some therapists that have been doing this for 20 years and never been bit. So how does that happen? Like, there's clearly training and support. There's clearly some holes in preparing these therapists for certain cases.
Yes.
I hate to say cases, but to them it's a case.
Yes.
So we lost her. I understand. I don't blame her. It's a very scary thing when you're completely unprepared and blindsided. We had the conversations, but again, you can't explain this to people. It's almost like you have to experience.
Live it. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
And see it and be present for it. And like you said, that instance of Burke, when he was doing that particular behavior of not, just kind of trying to pull me by my clothing, that was minimal compared to all the other stuff that happened when this particular one-on-one wasn't with us.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's brought up. And I mean, it's enough to scare somebody to say, like, you have to be prepared if a child starts to get aggressive. I think that would scare me into being like, well, I'll just go work retail for instead of having to go through that. It's unexpected, I think, because it's not spoken about in training. And I know this because of my training.
That's right. So what happens in the situation is that the parent or guardian, or in some cases grandparent, becomes the child support system / therapist. And I guess if we're lucky, it's an option.
Yeah, because of COVID.
But
I think.
Yes. So what we mean by that is that the state of Maryland has allowed parents to basically, I don't want to say act as the therapist, but be the child's therapist. Get us, paid for it by the waiver. So I say that very loosely because nothing's changed for me. Nothing's changed for you. No. We've always done this. We're just getting a little bit of compensation that is very helpful since we can't work outside the home.
Right.
So that is a positive thing, but it also, if you take a step back and say, it really defeats the purpose of what the waiver is supposed to do and provide. So it's a great segue. Tell everyone, explain to us how that has impacted your quality of life and your family's quality of life.
It has been at times, oftentimes, it's kind of been unbearable. Not only for me, but for my daughter, for my husband, for Burke. It's not fun for him either. It has really taken a toll on us emotionally, for me physically, because I'm his target. It's made everything very complicated, to put it mildly. We have to think ahead of everything that might trigger a behavior. We have to plan around Burke and his behaviors or his needs or his anxieties and obsessions. And that affects everything from driving a certain way on the road to passing a truck that he might have expected to see, to passing someone getting cash out of an ATM or a cash register being out of a receipt. Like, it's just, you're always on edge, and
they're all triggers for him.
That is just a small example, and the triggers change often, so you kind of never know. So you're always on edge. It has gotten to a point where at this time, I only take him out socially for horseback riding lessons, and I take him to school and bring him home, or sometimes bring him home from school, but I do not take him to restaurants. I'm terrified. I'm scared. I can't do it by myself. He's 17, and if something sets him off, I don't know what I do. One of the last times we were out in public, I think Target was out of their flyers or something, or he wanted to put them where the cash registers were in every aisle, and that wasn't an option. And he ran away from me, and he kicked a man who was kind of like blown away, shocked, hurt, physically hurt. I decided then that I can't do it anymore. It's too dangerous. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for Burke. It's not safe for the gentleman that was kicked or anybody that might be in the line of fire.
So basically, you had to further isolate yourself and Burke for safety reasons.
Yes. I mean, this gentleman was as nice as he could be once I explained the situation, but he could have, there's a million things that could have happened, sure. Obviously. He could have defended himself, he could have pressed charges, there's a number of things that could have happened. And that is a risk that I can't take with Burke, for his safety and for mine.
And this is a hard thing to say, but this is what this whole discussion's about. He could have hurt Burke back.
He could have.
Because our kids are big now.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't know that they have an autism diagnosis, they just look like a big kid who just assaulted someone.
Exactly, yeah. Burke looks like a typical teenager. And if a typical teenager came up and just started kicking you, there should be consequences.
And it's scary.
It's scary because of the way society is now with certain injustices and just treatment of others. It's just, we just don't know. So, like I said, it's not a risk that we could take.
So, when was the last time that your family took a vacation together?
I think it was 4 years ago. And Burke doesn't travel well, so Chloe and I we would plan for a week at the beach usually. Chloe and I would go down and stay for the full week.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason would bring Burke maybe for 2 or 3 days. But the last time that we went on vacation together was the last time that we went on vacation together. We were lucky that we had help with us for respite, and she was very well trained. It was not fun. It was a trip with aggression to a different area. I mean, it was not a vacation, and it's not easy for Burke. It was not easy for any of us. And when you think about vacation, you don't want to have to struggle and be traumatized from it. And that's where Chloe is. She will not go away with Burke because she's terrified of what has happened before will repeat itself.
Yeah. So there's that trauma with Chloe, and then there's the overall, I mean, just to simplify it, the vacation is in no way a vacation. You're working 3 times as hard as you're working in your own home, in familiar territory.
The benefit of that, of course, is Burke being able to stay in the ocean. And that is huge for him. He absolutely loves it. But it's also a double-edged sword, because some days when there's the black flag up and the kiddos can't go in the water because the surf is too rough, it's a whole other level of frustration and confusion.
Yeah. Anything that sabotages their plan, their expectations.
Expectations are everything. Yes.
Is Chloe this is a hard conversation, and you're so brave for agreeing to do this.
You're so nice. Thank you. This is therapy.
Good. I'm glad, because it is for me too. It's so helpful for me too. Is Chloe better in the home environment, or does she still fear her brother?
She does not fear him because she's 15 now, and she will fight back.
Okay.
If Brooke rarely gets aggressive with her. I think one of the last times he did, she kicked him back. And he's gone after her before, and she's too fast for him. He tells her to slow down so he can catch up to her, so that he can physically get aggressive with her.
Bless.
But she's, I think since she's gotten older, she has become more defensive and defended herself, which she should.
Absolutely.
And that's a very hard, going off in another direction, that's very hard for a teenage girl or a teenage boy to be physically abused by a sibling, and then having to explain to your child that it's not okay, that nobody should ever hit them. And that's what they grew up with. That's what they knew from their siblings, is, in some instances, is Chloe, when she was younger, was always Burke's target. So she grew up with bite marks. She had to wear long sleeves. In the summertime, I had to explain to her teachers what her bruises and bite marks were from. And, you know, it doesn't go away. It's residual. It's never gonna change, but she does defend herself now, so that is a bonus. And I've had the talk with her that it's never okay for someone to touch her or to physically be aggressive or verbally aggressive, or it's a hard reality that you don't think of until your child's old enough to know what's going on.
Yeah, because it's trauma.
It's trauma.
And look, you and Jason are absolutely amazing. You're amazing, loving, supporting parents. Nice. Has Chloe talked to someone about this?
Yes, okay. She has. We are lucky to have had a wonderful therapist for her that's really, really helped her.
Because it's so heavy.
it's so heavy, and I couldn't do it, and I would try, but
Sure.
she needs an outlet, and her friends don't understand, and her life is so different from her friends. She can't just call somebody and ask them to come over, because you never know what Burke's going to be like.
Yeah.
You never know if he'll be fine with having somebody over, or if he will repeatedly ask them to leave, or a number of other things.
She's very well supported and loved, and I hope that with time there's healing.
Yes.
When is the last time that you and your husband Jason took a vacation?
We went out to lunch yesterday for our 21st anniversary.
A lunch date, that's nice.
It was very nice. We have never been away alone together.
Ever.
No, well, not since Burke was born.
16 years.
Yeah, 16 years. I mean, we went on vacations as a family when the kids were younger. But Jason and I have never, at this point, it's not even an option. We don't even entertain the thought of possibly having it work. We divide and conquer. It's just how our life is. I mean, it sucks, but it's how it has to be. So there's that.
It's hard on a marriage.
It's very hard on a marriage. I am extremely lucky that Jason is so patient and understanding, and that Burke is just enamored with him.
Yes, he loves his dad so much.
He loves his dad so much.
He's like his hero, I think.
Jason is like his hero. He's like his best friend.
Aww.
He's trusts Jason. He knows that nothing will ever happen. That we would never let anything happen to Burke, but I think he knows that more with Jason, because Jason is able to spend more time with him, because he's not as aggressive with Jason as he is with me.
So, can't go out to dinner as a family. No more family vacations. Getaways with your husband are non-existent, and have been for almost 2 decades. I just want to recap that and let
20 years.
Let all that settle in for those who are listening. It's a big cup to swallow.
Yes.
But it's a reality of so many of our families.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just want to take it one step further and talk about like family and maybe close friends support. Like what does that system look like?
For family, it's everyone loves Burke, obviously. They're his family. We don't have help from our family. We never really have, which is not everybody does. I mean, even with typical families. So we've been on our own since Burke was diagnosed, and that is hard when you don't have family help or support or someone to call and see how you're doing and know that how hard it is. And you never know how hard it is until you live it. My dad lives with us now, and I think it was in a total shock to him. How Burke is day to day.
Yeah. I know you have a couple groups of friends. We all have different groups of friends. Some high school friends, some, also some mom friends, some people in between. But I know that you have a group of girls that you've been friends with for a really long time. And I know how much you are loved and supported. What does that look like for you? Like, in what ways are they able to lend support to you?
Well, I should start out by saying that all of my friends are my lifeline. Thank you.
So wonderful.
I as much of a support as Jason is, and he's incredibly supportive. It's just, my friends are just, they're very supportive. They don't know what it's like, but they try to understand. They try to, I mean, a lot of my friends, my autism moms,
Sure.
get it.
Sure.
They just listen to me cry. They listen to me describe what it's like to not be able to leave a room for 2 days because your son might attack you. It's just a whole other level of support that has really, really gotten me through all these years.
I know that you're, at least once a year, you try to do something, right?
Yes.
Like a long weekend or something.
Yes.
It's not like you're going to the Bahamas for 2 weeks.
Unfortunately.
But those long weekends feel probably like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. I yearn for them when we're packing up. I'm like, no, how is it over already?
Yeah.
Those get-togethers, and they keep me going. They really do. I'm not sure if my friends really know that, but they are golden to me. And
Well, they'll know now.
yeah.
And I can relate to that also because I have a wonderful core group of girlfriends. I actually have a couple small groups, I should say. I consider them like one big core group, but I do have to separate them because I do different things with different friends. But what I will say about them is also they have been a lifeline for me. They have always been there for the exact same reasons that you're describing, to hear me talk, to listen to me cry, to listen to me explain and dissect and try to come up with reasonable suggestions and potential solutions. I know they don't understand, but they try so hard and want to do anything and everything.
Yeah, I do have a friend who has experienced autism certain ways. Her son is on the spectrum, but I do not want to discredit her at all because I didn't mention that before, but she's been very understanding and very helpful, and she works with special needs kids, and she's seen a lot too. So I should mention that because that is very helpful too.
Absolutely. I do feel very grateful both of these groups make sure that I get away once a year with each group for like same thing, long weekend, and take a breath and have some respite, recharge. And I have so much gratitude for them. My mom and sister are incredibly supportive and loving in different ways, but in ways that I need. And I'm so grateful for them. And I have a really wonderful mother-in-law, supports us in her own way. In terms of the extended family, I have some one-offs. I think there's a lot of love and caring and positive thoughts, but I think I'm just gonna call a spade because that's what I do. I think we're a lot. I think we're a lot for a lot of people, and it's too much.
It is.
So out of sight, out of mind. You know, a text, a reach out. I don't know. Little, maybe dropping off dinner once a year, or just
checking in.
Just checking in would go so far. I don't want to discredit that, like you said, everyone has their own families and their own things going on, but it's a whole different level of living and experiencing life, and those check-ins can be life-changing.
They go a long way.
It is what it is, and you just find acceptance and find gratitude with the people who choose to be a part of your life.
Yes.
And who want to text you and check in, or pick up the phone and check in, or, hey, can we do dinner even if it's in 1 month? I just want to see you for an hour. I just want to catch up with you, make sure you're doing okay. I'm thinking about you. Anything. Right?
Yeah. And now that I'm backtracking, am forever grateful for a friend that I had met in our former neighborhood who knew Burke, knew us. We just met each other at the bus stop. Our kids, Chloe went to the same school as her kiddos did. And in the thick of it, when Burke was younger, she would take Chloe after school with her 2 kiddos, and they would do typical family things and treated Chloe like she was part of their family. And I will never forget that, and neither will she.
It's really sweet.
They were just, and still are, so loving. And whenever I think about it, I'm just blown away by how far out of their way they went to help us.
That's so wonderful, Lisa. I'm so glad you have that family in your life as well.
Yeah, they really got us through. And I, even though we don't have hands-on family help, I should mention that Jason is one of 5, and his brothers and sister are very understanding and interested and compassionate about our situation, and their families, their sisters-in-law and others. So that's also very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting back to not having enough therapeutic support or respite, because the Autism Waiver covers both, I wanted to bring up the fact that another thing to acknowledge and be grateful for in Baltimore is that we finally have our first ever state autism coordinator, thanks to the wonderful, diligent warrior delegate Michelle Guyton. Mm-hmm. She fought like hell to get that, and she got it. She never gave up. And I'm actually really excited that she will be coming on the pod soon. She has been a game changer for us in Maryland because no legislator has taken autism on like she has. And it's because she is an autism mom that she's so vested. But I do think autism is an epidemic and needs to be treated as such. In Maryland, I mean, I know what the CDC stats are, but they're wrong. And the reason they're wrong is because they're 2 years dated. If I'm not being arrogant, I'm being very realistic. They're 2 years dated, and they do cross sections in their statistics. Mm-hmm. What the real statistic in Maryland is closer to 1 in 34 boys. And so it is an epidemic. It has to be treated like such. And, we have some good players in the game, like Delegate Guyton.
Yes. Very grateful for her.
And we have we have some supportive legislators. They just haven't taken it on head on like she has.
Right.
So they will support us when we reach out and make them aware, hey, this bill is pending, I need you to vote on this. But not enough is getting done fast enough. But Michelle's made some really nice strides in the last couple of years. And so Katie Gandy is the new autism coordinator for the state of Maryland. And it's I did speak with her in a virtual meeting, and from what I got out of it, it's my understanding that she has, I think, either 4 or 5 subcommittees under her, and it consists of parents, therapists / providers, I think some physicians. Have to trust that they're going to do their due diligence because they're all vested in their own way.
Yes.
Or why would they volunteer to be on a committee?
Right.
Because they're not getting paid.
Right.
Now, Katie is, because she's she's overseeing the whole team and she's the coordinator. But in our discussion, she brought up some possible solutions to the lack of service providers. And also want to mention that for the audience that Katie is a autism mom as well. So she is very vested in her job. She also is very aware of all of the problems in the policy in the state of Maryland. And just starting with the autism waiver, the fact that the wait list is, 8 to 10 years. And the fact that once you're called, that it really doesn't change much because there's nobody to deliver the services, and training's an issue, and this and that and the other thing. She's very well aware. We really have been kind of picking apart like what all the issues are and what the repercussions of the issues are. And so it's nice to know that we're in the very, very beginning stages of having, this committee dive in and look at all the issues and come up with potential solutions, working with legislators to better improve the policy and the standard, because the standard's really low right now. It's bad. I guess, is there anything that you wanted to add, like just any final thoughts before we kind of segue into a lighter part of the discussion?
I think what we talked about earlier brought up a memory, very good memory, sort of, when you were talking about grieving, the grieving process. I think the best advice I had ever gotten was from the Baltimore County psychologist that diagnosed Burke. She told me that I needed to let myself grieve.
Yes.
And I still am, but it really made a huge difference in growing with Burke and our family. I'm not sure that I ever would have really allowed myself to grieve because it's complex and it's complicated and it's not like you've lost a life.
Right.
But that really hit home, and that was 15 years ago, and it stays with me every day.
It's almost like validation. Like, it's okay. You are a human being. And, grief isn't linear. There can be triggers to grief that you thought were resolved. And you cannot jump over grief or hide from it or duck it. You literally have to ram yourself through it and sit in it. And it's a hard place to be, but if you don't sit with the grief and process it and experience it, then that just means you're suppressing and remaining stagnant.
Right.
So I'm so glad you got that validation and support so early on.
Yeah, I will never forget it. It's been one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I've ever gotten.
I love that. That's awesome. Why don't we talk about the lighter part of our journey?
Yay.
Because there is always something to be grateful for.
Yes.
And also we want to continue to share tools that have helped us in some of the hard times with other families who are going through this. What is your favorite book?
All-time favorite, and it still surprises me because I've read, there's so many good books out there, but The Prince of Tides.
When did you read that?
I think, 25 years ago when it came out.
Yeah.
I just keep going. I've read it a couple of times. It's the only book that I've read more than one time. It's just a favorite.
Okay, and the next question is, what would your dream vacation be?
I would love to go to Paris with Chloe.
Oh, I love that.
And hopefully we will one day.
I hope so too for you. It seems like a magical place, doesn't it?
It is a magical, yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go with my dad.
Yeah.
A few years ago, and
but you would love to take Chloe.
I would love to take Chloe.
Oh. What do you do for self-love, taking care of yourself, and getting snippets of respite when you can?
I enjoy my time alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because I'm an introvert or just because I need a break, but I really do enjoy time alone, and I really do enjoy gardening and getting my frustration out while gardening, and having an end result is a nice little bonus. It's very motivating and it's therapeutic for me.
Is it flowers, or do you have like an actual vegetable garden?
I'm a little late on the vegetable garden this year. I will plant one, but I won't be doing it from seed, which is what I plan to do. I think I'll just have to buy some plants that have already started.
Okay.
So I'm a little behind on that. But yeah, we usually have just basics: tomatoes, squash, zucchini, baby watermelons, which are so cute.
I love that thought process, though. Like, just planting the seed, watching something grow, and the end result. And yeah.
Especially with flowers, I feel that way. Yeah. Vegetables, to me, it's not as exciting.
Yeah. And then what would your best advice be for parents?
I think a huge part would be to let yourself grieve, no matter what the circumstances are. This is not going to be the child that you had envisioned, and that's okay, but it's going to be different. It's going to be harder, and it's okay. It's okay to feel sorry for yourself. I still do it. And I give myself permission to do it, to feel sorry for myself, and to feel angry. This happened to our family. And I absolutely adore Burke. That does not take away from how much we love him. But it's been more difficult than I could ever have imagined.
Yeah.
So I think really trying to get that across, that it's okay to be angry and to feel sorry for yourself and to find an outlet for yourself. I think that's huge. It's huge. It's gotten me a long way.
Yeah. I think that's such great advice, because it goes back to that superhero analogy. Like, I should be able to do this. I'm the parent.
Yeah.
And yes, you are the parent, but you're also a human being with feelings and your own life experience. And this is hard and it's heavy. And I think giving yourself permission to just be and feel and take the respite when you can get it, and grieve, is so powerful.
Yeah, I think it's been a game changer for me, to, like I said, to allow myself. And Jason has always been very supportive, and when I would get so down and depressed and hard on myself, he would always try and pick me back up and remind me that everybody has a breaking point and you can't do everything.
He's a superstar.
He really is.
Superstar father.
Yeah, he is a unicorn.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry Jason couldn't join us, but he's working hard in there, and I think that you did an excellent job speaking on behalf of him.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you for having me today. I love that we were able to spend time together and catch up beforehand.
So nice.